Let's divide 55 and 2/10 divided by 16/100. When you're dividing decimals, first ask yourself, is the divisor a whole number? It is not in this case. This is 16/100. So you're going to move the decimals to the right until this becomes an actual whole number, which would be 16. So move it 2 times, and now we have a whole number. Whatever you do to the divisor, do to the dividend. So you're going to also move this decimal point 2 times. And I want you to think, what do we do here? You're going to put a 0 there. Now we're working with a whole number here. We did the same thing over here, and we're going to do our long division as usual, using 16 as our divisor. So starting with, you would normally do, 5 divided by 16, but that doesn't work. 5 is too small. You're going to do 55 divided by 16. So I'm thinking 16 times 4 maybe would get to 55, 16 times 3. I'm just trying to get close to 55 without going over. So let's see, if I did 16 times 3, lots of ways to do this. I mean, you could just add it up. You could multiply, repeated addition is multiplication. 16 plus 16 plus 16 is 48. That's the closest I'm going to get to 55. I was going to try for 4, but I think you would go over at that point. So let's say 3. And then we multiply back. 3 times 16 is 48. Next, we subtract into the green box. 55 minus 48 is 7. Bring down the 2. And now we divide again. 72 divided by 16, or how many times can 16 fit into 72? We already had that 48 there, like 3 times 16 is 48. So let's add another 16 to it. That's 64. I think that's the closest we'll get, because even if you go 10 more, not much less 16, you'll get over 72. So I think 4 times is the closest we'll get. 4 times 16 is 64. So I did that just by adding 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16. But you can also do 4 times 16, 4 times 10 is 40, and 4 times 6 is 24. 40 plus 24 is 64. Now we're going to subtract. 72 minus 64 is 8. And we're going to bring down the 0. And lastly, we're going to see how many times does 16 fit into 80. And 16 fits into 85 times. And you could do that by just adding 16s until you get to or close to 80. When I multiply by 5s, it helps me to know that 16 times 10 is 160, because you just add a 0. And half of that is 80. And that's how I multiply by 5s, is I multiply by 10 and divide it in half. So 5 times 16 is 80. We subtract. We check that there's nothing left to bring down. We did all the digits. And we check that there's a 0 at the end. And then lastly, we'll bring our decimal point up. And our quotient, or our answer, is 345.